Flight 229, you're clear for takeoff.
Hey folks, Maverick Watch Reviews back here with another review for you. Today I've got something fresh off of the watch presses for you today. Today we have the Casio G-Shock Glide 200 meter solar quartz diver, model number GAX100MSB-1A. They really need to do something about these watch names. Anyway, as usual, we'll open it up, look at the fit and finish, the features and the functions, the build quality, and then I'll give you my overall impression of this brand new G-Shock from Casio. But first, I'd like to invite you to become a patron of mine on Patreon. This will allow me to buy a better camera, better editing software, and give you a new watch review at least 2 or 3 times a week. Please make sure you check out my Patreon page when you get a chance. My only commitment level is $3, but I'm even flexible on that. 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever you can give per month would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I really would appreciate it, guys. Anyway, here you go. Typical G-Shock watch box. There you go. Let's open this thing up. And of course you get your instruction manual right here, a lot of times written in multiple different languages, and your international warranty card. There you go. All right, let's take a look at this watch. Here's the G-Shock 10 that many of you have seen before. All right, let's pop this thing out. And here you go. Interesting looking watch. Really, really cool looking watch, I think. All right. Let's go ahead and get the base specs of this thing. All right, let's look at the case size. The case size, you're looking at about, what was that, 50 millimeters. All right, let's do the thickness. Thickness is, let's say 16. Let's do the lug to lug, which is gonna be kind of hard because this case is kind of molded into the strap too, but there you go. Lug to lug, 55.5, and then we're going to do the strap, which it starts out at 28.5, and then tapers down to, there you go, 22. So there you go. Using my handy dandy new calipers here. All right, and of course on the left-hand side of the screen, I'll go ahead and display the other specs for you. You're looking at 200 meters water resistant, which is 660 feet. It does have a mineral crystal in it, no sapphire with this thing. You have the Casio 5484 movement. You have about a 3-year battery life, and that's if you don't use the auto light a lot, and I'll explain that a little bit later. It has a tide graph function, a moon data function, a thermometer, world time, 4 alarms, a stopwatch, a countdown timer, an auto calendar until the year 2099, and of course you can also have a display military time if you want. And it has a Japanese movement, and the whole watch is cased in China. So everybody's familiar with these G-Shocks. I mean, they're just tough as nails watches. And I like this one because it has this kind of translucent strap to it and kind of translucent case a little bit too. Just a really cool looking watch, I think. It's not, you know, super feature packed as compared to some of the other G-Shocks with the barometer functions and compass and stuff like that. But it does have a thermometer, which is pretty cool. Let me see. Now, the only thing about this watch right off the bat that kind of bugs me is this negative display. I'm not a big fan of negative displays in any watch. I think they're just a little bit too hard to read unless you're in direct light like we are with this studio light right here. I mean, this studio light, it pops fine, but even if you angle it just a little bit, you see how you lose that right there? And that drives me a little bit nuts. I much rather would have a positive display, and there is a version of this watch, I believe it's the blue version, and I'll go ahead and put that up on the left-hand side of the screen for you. The blue version does have a positive display, and it's just, a lot easier to read quickly. With this one, you're going to have to angle it a little bit to read that display. It looks cool. I mean, it looks really cool, but it's just not, to me, very functional, and that's with any negative display. Now, some of these watches, you can actually swap it. You can just swap the display from being a negative to a positive display. This, unfortunately, is not one of those watches. I wish it had that feature, but it just doesn't. Let's talk about what I do like. I do like the big indexes. You have a very, very three-dimensional dial, as you can see. It looks like you're in the Coliseum down there. Really, really nice three-dimensional dial. I love the skeletonized hands with the little white tips on the hour and minute hand. Really, really do like the dial overall. Just not crazy about that negative display. What else? Also, let's talk about the case a little bit. I like the big recessed buttons. You're not going to accidentally press any of these buttons because they have kind of the shield around them. Let me show you right there. As you can see, they're kind of shielded by the case. It's kind of like each button has a little shroud around it, which is kind of nice. I like that. And you can see more of the translucent case right there. Really, really interesting case. I like the strap. The strap is very comfortable. Obviously, I've already tried it on. It really doesn't need any sort of break-in period. It's really comfortable right out of the box. You have a nice Casio G-Shock signed buckle there. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. And you're getting your typical G-Shock case back. Just a screwed in stamped case back, nothing spectacular. It gives you the movement and the water resistance and that it was cased in China, but the movement was made in Japan. Nothing spectacular there. What else? It does, like I said, it does have a couple different functions, and I'll go through this real briefly. I'm not going to do a full kind of manual review of this, showing you everything it can do, because honestly, that would just take too long. So let's just go through the basic functions here. This is your mode button, bottom left-hand corner. So there you go, there's your alarm. That's one of 4 alarms that you can have. Right here, I think that is what? Here we go, tide, I'm sorry, that's the tide. You have a tide function, you have moon data, you have a stopwatch, you have a timer function, you have your world time, and right now it's set to London. So I think London's about 6 hours ahead of us. So right now, this is showing London, it's showing that London is my world time that I've set inside here. Now if I want to switch the display to showing London time, the analog hands, what you do is you hit both buttons A and B at the same time, and you'll see the hands move to London time. Now the analog hands are going to display London time, but the digital display is going to display New York time because I'm on the East Coast. So it's 7:16 here in Virginia, and in London it is what? It is 11, about 11:15 over in London. And if you just want to switch it back, press them again. Press A and B together at the same time. You'll hear a little beep, and then it's going to go all the way back around, and you'll see the analog hands show 7:15 or 7:16, and then it says that it's in London. So if you travel frequently, you can just swap your home time and your world time. It's kind of a neat little function. You don't really probably want to do this, but so often, because this is just a battery-driven watch. It's not solar-powered. So if you use this function a lot, so far as swapping the hands like that, or you use the backlight a lot, it is going to drain the battery. You're not going to get anywhere near that 3-year battery life. So just be cognizant of how much you use the light and use this particular function right here. So anyway, so let's go through the rest of them here. You get your alarm. Again, that's your, I think it's your tide time right there, I believe. I'm sorry, that was your moon data. There's your tide. Stopwatch, timer. Of course, we saw the world time. Another alarm. Actually, that's going back to alarm, I'm sorry. And then there you go, you're back to your regular time. Now, if you want to see what the temperature is, go ahead and click it over here, bottom right-hand corner. I think this is the A, B, I think this is the C button. It's going to take a temperature reading, and there you go. So it's 83 degrees. Now you got to remember, these are not very accurate because when you're wearing it on your wrist, the watch itself gets a little bit warm, but you can actually calibrate it to your wrist. You put it on your wrist, I think you let it sit for a few minutes, and you calibrate the watch. But the best way to get the most accurate temperature from one of these is to just sit it down. Of course, that kind of defeats the purpose of wearing a watch with a thermometer. But you can just sit it down, or you can go in there and try to calibrate it. Now, one thing that people that are going to buy this, if this has Tokyo is set to the home time, the temperature is only going to display in Celsius. So I'm not sure how many people in Tokyo are going to be buying this watch. I'm sure, I'm assuming probably thousands. So they won't have a problem because everything over there is the metric. But anywhere outside of Tokyo, any other time zone, you can swap it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So just kind of a little reminder there to take a look at that. Let's go ahead and try this thing on real quick. Again, like I said, it's really comfortable, really, really comfortable, and I just love the look of that translucent strap. It doesn't have the double tangs like a lot of the Casio G-Shock watches do. It doesn't have the double tang on it. But there you go, man. Really, really interesting looking strap. I like that translucent for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I just do. It's kind of very Blade Runner to me. Anyway, I like it. Now let me show you the other little gripe I have about this watch. Not a big deal, but again, it could affect your battery life. Now, if you notice, when I hold the watch like this, nothing happens. And when I tilt it, the auto light comes on. Now, the only problem with that is whenever you do this, it does it no matter whether it's day or night. So you could be out in bright sunlight, you tilt your wrist, the light comes on. Now, of course, you can turn this on or off, this feature on or off. I would highly, highly suggest that you turn it off. Because no matter, where you are, what time of day, and you're in a dark place, bright sunlight outside, that auto light feature is always going to work. Now, the difference is with the Rangeman, since the Rangeman is a solar, and this is just my theory, and I would love to know y'all's theories as well. If the Rangeman is in total, if it's in bright light, the backlight doesn't turn on. You actually have to turn out the light or be in a dark situation. And let me show you. Let me show you this real quick. Okay. And notice now we're in the dark. The backlight comes on. Because this is solar powered, I think the solar cell is able to register whether it's getting any sunlight or just, ambient light or office light. And when it knows it's not getting enough light, that allows the backlight to come on. So this one actually only comes on when it's dark outside or dark inside or you're in a dark environment. Whereas this one always comes on no matter what. And it's actually a little bit hard to read when you're in a very, very dark situation because these hands are skeletonized. It's not as easy to read as I would personally like it to be. It's not hard to read. It's just not very easy to read. Because everything you have these big, huge white indexes and you have the hands with the white tips on them. They're skeletonized. So reading this watch, this Glide watch in dark environments when you're using that backlight, it's a little bit hard to do. And another thing, the digital segments are not backlit. The only light you're getting is from down here at 6 o'clock that's shining over the face of the watch. So it's casting a light over the face of the watch, but as you can see, that light's coming on. The digital segments are not backlit. So those are really my only two gripes with the watch. The fact that it has a negative display, a negative digital display, LCD display, and that auto light comes on no matter, whether it's light or dark outside or inside or wherever you are. It always comes on. So again, I would highly suggest that you turn it off, and let me show you how to do that. Basically, and I'm gonna try to do this through the camera. You hold the light button for 3 seconds, and you'll see the little light icon. It says LT, I believe. You'll see it go off. Let me do it again. Hold on, let me go back. All right, let's try this now. All right, hold the light on. And you see that it went off. I don't know if you saw that in the upper right-hand corner. Let me show you again. Hold it for 3 seconds. You'll see the icon come on. There it goes. Now that's different from the light in the actual settings. The duration that the backlight stays on, you can either have it stay on for 1 second or 3 seconds. That's deeper in the settings. This auto light setting is just holding in the light for 3 seconds, turning the auto light feature on or off. So let's go into the actual settings. Set, hold it. Now you go through here. Okay, that's daylight savings time, I believe. 12 hour, 24 hour. Keep pressing, you'll eventually get to it. That's your keynote where you can have it play a little sound whenever you press a button. And there's the light. See, I've got it set on 3 seconds, or I could do 1 second. That's different from the auto light setting. So this just determines how long the backlight stays on for whenever you activate it, whether you activate it manually or it's automatically activated by the auto E-light function. So there you go. Man, I wish they had maybe put a sensor or something in there. So anyway, actually you can see I've turned it off now. Oh, I turned it back on. I'm sorry. Let me turn it off and make sure that it works. All right, it went off. So now when I tilt it 15 degrees or more, yep, it's not coming on. There we go. So anyway, so still overall, really cool looking watch. I like the watch a lot. It fits great. It's a handsome looking watch. I love this strap, really cool looking strap. You can get one of these for $160 over on Amazon, which is a really good price. I believe they come in 4 colors. You saw the blue one earlier up on the screen. I think they come in a black and a white, or a white and I can't remember the other color, but they come in 4 different colors. So if you like this watch, make sure you go out there and pick yourself up one. Really, really nice watch, great price. And that's really about it. If you like this video, please click on like. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I really do appreciate it. I'm coming up on 6,000 subscribers, probably here in the next couple weeks. And I really do appreciate you all subscribing to my channel. I try to give you all the best reviews I can. And if you have any questions or comments, please put those down in the comment section. I'll try to answer those as fast as I can. And I've got a ton of new stuff. I've got like 10 watches in the works right now. A couple of them that are not even available in the United States. I've been teasing y'all a little bit with that. The last review, I think. Those will probably be here next week, and I'll start reviewing those. But I've got some more stuff before then. So anyway, until the next review, I will see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.